Hello there. Hmm, Hang. Check it out. I got new emotes. Bam. Uh, People tell me that 9:30 is too early, so we're trying 10 o'clock. Also, because I think that this isn't going to take as long, so I want it to be ready for lunch and not like halfway through the morning. Boy, that's sure a low energy start. Hello, welcome to brunch. I found a fish, and we're gonna have a fish, and then I went to the farmer's market and I found a bunch of fresh herbs. It's gonna be great. Get excited. I actually uploaded 6 new emotes, but 3 of them are caught in pending approval, and I don't know why. Anyways, uh, let's get things shuffled around in order. Let's see, I need the board. We can take us down here. I've been told that the little corner stovetop needs some way to quick disable it. But there's a fish. And he's, of course, still in his plastic. So I'm going to get in there and see if it smells okay. Because that's the first test of a fish. Does it smell okay? It smells okay. I'm not going to say it smells great. It smells like raw fish. Fish. Gonna probably need to give him a rinse. So I'm gonna do that right away. Come here, fish. He was gutted, but he's still got a little bit of guts in him. And he smells a little bit nicer. I think he was developing a little bit of stank because he was cooped up. But one fish. Okay, 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 okay. We're actually ready to start. Now, there's two ways to do a whole fish that I've found, and I'm not sure which one is the superior method. We could take this guy and wrap him in foil, and then he'll steam, and any aromatics or herbs or stuff I put in there with him will get in there. Or we could put him in a baking sheet tray. Let me compare the size of my tray. He won't fit in that one. So we're probably going to go with the foil method because I think he's bigger than my baking dish. He would just barely fit on the sheet pan, but on a sheet pan, he's not going to be contained. Okay. That being the case, let's get our oven preheating to 450. Make sure there's nothing in there. I've done that a few times where I started preheating the oven and there was something in there, and then that something got very hot. So a fish is going to want some aromatics, some herbs, and probably some citrus. And I've got some limes. I don't have lemons on hand, but I've got some limes. So I'm going to use lime. I've got a sweet onion, and I just this morning picked up some dill from the farmer's market. Am I making sound? I am making sound. Okay. Yes, I've got a new logo, and I've got new emotes, although 3 of them are caught in pending approval. I particularly am proud of the one that I'm using as my face. So I did in fact do all 6 slots. They just Twitch is being a little bit of a butt about it. So let's push the fish up a little bit. I'm going to prep things to stuff him with. On the other board. Where's that big onion? Big onion. I bought a big sweet Vidalia onion for the burger the other day, but of course I have way more than I need. So sweet onion is going to be part of my stuffing here. Yeah, I said, next time you see me, if I don't have my emotes, you're allowed to slap me, or you're required to slap me. So I had to get my emotes because I didn't want to get slapped. Or do I? But yeah, I got a different art program. I was using GIMP before, and it turns out GIMP is absolutely terrible at creating new art. If you've got an image you want to edit, GIMP is great. If you want to make something from scratch, GIMP is like, please don't use GIMP. And I used it because it was free. But it turns out they're right. When the GIMP team says, please don't use GIMP, it's not good for this. They are not kidding. So there's the inside of the fish. Oh, before we put the onions in there, the inside of the fish needs salt and pep. Yes, yes. You're very opinionated about your art programs. I ended up using paint.net, which is not a website, despite the name. It is just an art program. And it has all the tools I was looking for, all the meager tools I needed. Hardly doing advanced artwork. Okay. The interior of the fish is salted, and so is the exterior. I don't know that salting the skin is going to do a lot of work, but it's going to do something. Hello! I decided a little bit of a later start time to let people have their breakfasts and settle in. Also because I don't think the fish is going to take super long. But yes, it's a fish. There he is. There's his little eyeball. I was just about to stuff these onions in that fish, and then I realized that the fish needed to have some salt. And I also have realized that I probably should cut all the things and then do them all stuffed in so that I don't have to keep washing my hands as I touch stuff. Come on. So I don't have any lemon, but I do have limes. So, which are very tough-skinned limes. Okay, okay. Try this again. But yeah, fish. And we stopped at the farmer's market this morning. I didn't get the fish there. But I did get some fresh dill, which I don't otherwise have, and it's kind of expensive to get at the grocery store. I gotta get this guy started with the point or something, because it just doesn't want to start. And I picked up some vegetables, because we're going to need a side. We can't just have a fish. I'm going to need some kind of side. Why is this limes? It's probably because it's slightly old, so it's a little bit saggy. Let's see. That should probably. I want one more slice. We want one more slice. Sharpening the food directly over the food. Sharpening the food. Yeah. Sharpening the food. Um, Sharpening the knife directly over the food is how you get iron in your diet. Didn't you know that? It's a traditional French method. I'm going to switch cameras so I can show this bunch of dill. It's gone to seed. But here's the dill that I picked up. That's a lot of dill. I'm It's gone to seed a little bit, but it looked like all the dill had gone to seed. I think we're a little bit late for dill season. I've got it over on my other work table. It's not terribly leafy dill is the problem. So I'm going to end up using these heads to try to get my dill. We're bringing out a dill. But as a legit question, I think that there might be a tiny, tiny amount of metal dust, but you're not getting shavings off of this thing. This isn't strong enough to actually like take slivers off. If I run my hand over it, you can see there's the tiniest little bit of like gray smudge. The powder is so fine. So yes, there's going to be a little bit of steel getting into your food, but it's not slivers. It's micro fine. Probably just don't shave your or don't sharpen your blade directly over your food. That's probably a reasonable advice. To be fair. Okay, that's a Dill Frond. This is why this dill was so cheap, because it's all gone to seed. It probably loses flavor when it produces these big flower heads as well. Okay. Yeah, farmer, I think, should have been cutting away seed heads or the flower heads as they were developing. Okay, salt is in there. We're going to get these sweet onions in there. I know I'm kind of off the top of the screen there, but we're just going to peel them open. Take these slices of sweet onion and stick them in there. I'm going to stick one in his face. I could try to save the heads. I'm not sure if they have fully gone to seed. They do look like they've gone past the flowering stage. But yes, if I can get dill seed out of them, that would be a good thing. So I'm not disappointed. I think we're a little bit late in the season for dill overall. I'm stuffing Fresh dill in there. Close him up. Of course, the reason you stuff the body cavity with things is that it's directly in contact with the flesh of the fish, whereas the fish still has its skin intact, and the skin is a barrier through which these flavors aren't going to really penetrate. We are, however, going to put the lime slices on the top. But yeah, so I'll report back if these seed heads become seeds. There's quite a lot of them. There was a big bunch of dill. My oven has clicked. I've also got to think about, at this stage, what am I going to have as a side? I've got some basic stuff. I've got some potatoes. I've got some summer squash. I've been bequeathed some summer squash. There's some lettuce that's going wilty very quickly, so maybe we should make a side salad. I also picked up some leeks and some zucchinis. Okay. We're going to make a fish house. So, big foil that's longer than the fish is. And if you've seen foil, I'm going to freak my camera out here a little bit. If you've seen foil, you got one side that's not as shiny and one side that's very shiny. And we want the fish to be on the not shiny side. I'm doing this over on the stovetop because I have more room. Now, I've been told by the internet that I am supposed to double layer this, like you would with a spring form in a water bath, because there's going to be quite a bit of liquid coming out of this fish, and they don't want it to leak. But I'm going to try a single. Get over here. So here's our giant sheet of foil and our pan. Let's put right in the center. Right in the center. And let's get this guy over onto it. Oop. The onion that was in the face fell out. Get back in there, onion. Fill up those delicious face meats. I don't believe there's much face meat on a rainbow trout, actually. But the idea here is I'm going to make a pouch out of that foil in which the fish will steam itself. And this is a pretty substantially sized fish, so it'll take a hot minute. We've got our oven. The oven's up to temperature. Get those limes on the top. Hooray! I've put limes on it. I'm gonna turn the brightness down because we are having some reflections off of all this shiny aluminum. Okay. Okay. Now I want to be careful because I don't want to kink this and then have it with any little tears. This is heavy aluminum foil, so it should be okay. I just have to not be aggressive with it. Okay. Let me pinch in the sides. Pinch in the middle. I think we have a slight steam gap right in the center on the back side here. Not that I've split it, but just that I didn't fold it so that I could reach the other flap. So I'm gonna quickly unfold the ends. Get these middles to touch. There we go. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Perfect. Oh, I forgot to change it last time. That's an easy. That's an easy fix. Although people do come in for just chatting, so just chatting's a extremely popular category. Fish. Fish is all wrapped up. But thank you. I forgot to change it last time. We had a little bit of a oops, because I never changed it even at the end. I don't know if the categories really, how much they really matter. Timer. I'm going to give it 20 minutes to start with. Although I don't really want to open it up once it's in there. So let's ask how long to cook a rainbow trout. How long to steam a rainbow trout? About 20 minutes, give or take. So, good. We're going to take this guy, we're going to stick him in the oven, and then we're going to think about what to serve with him. And we will have our timer going over on the side here. Okay. What do you think? What should we, let's get rid of this fishy board. What do you think we should eat alongside a nice big fish? I've got a few, like I said, I've got zucchini, summer squash. Oh. Gonna use up one of these summer squashes. They were bequeathed upon me, and they won't keep forever, so let's get in there. They're not my favorite shape of squash, but they're the same thing on the inside. My favorite shape are the patty pans, which I just saw starting to come in at farmer's market. This one's a teeny bit big. The seeds have become very large, but they're still they still seem like tender seeds. So I don't think we're in the realm of it being over the hill. It's just, it was probably picked as late as it could be. What do I want to do with it? What do I want to do with it? Well, first of all, I want to slice it thin. Let's get out a pan. Think, 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 think. Okay, okay. Garlic. Salt. Butter. Sorry. Butter. Pretty cliche, but garlic butter squash is one of my absolute favorite things. And I've still got a little bit of onion here, so I can mince up the onion, and that can stand in for like a shallot. Okay. We've got an idea. We've got an idea coming together. Let's take off a chunk of butter. Gotta be a little bit judicious with our butter these days. The price has been madness. Let's get that melting. Mushroom. I do have mushrooms. I actually have mushrooms. That's a great idea because I have. Let's see if these guys are okay. Yes, we have two regular little button guys who are left over from a thing, but I was also bequeathed more oysters from our friend over at the Fox something farm. There they are in a bag. Not a whole knob this time, just sliced up ones. Okay. Yes. Perfect. I'm gonna mince up the rest of this onion. finely. And we're going to use this in place of a shallot. I don't have any shallot, but this is a sweet onion, so it's got less of that pungency that onions have, which is what a shallot brings as well. So it's not exactly the same, but it'll be similar. Yes, there. Somebody in the chat will always be able to jump in and pitch the correct name of Fox Familiar Farms that I keep forgetting. Should write that down. Okay, our butter is melting over there. Mushrooms should go in before the squash because mushrooms can handle more cooking. So I'm less likely to overcook them if I put them in first. Well, I won't overcook them. I'm less likely to overcook the squash if I put the mushrooms in first, because the squash does want to be only cooked a certain amount and then stop. Whereas mushrooms can handle a shitload of cooking. It's very, very difficult to overcook a mushroom. These were a little bit old, but that's also something mushrooms are pretty good at. Just staying good. All I've got to do really is take that little dried up nubbin off the end of the stems, and we're good. These are probably as old as you could reasonably have mushrooms. So good thing we're using them up. I probably would have had to pitch them tomorrow. They're still a little bit large, so I'm going to cut them the unorthodox way through the cap sideways. For chunks. Nice. Okay. Salt. Because our butter is unsalted. I always recommend unsalted butter for cooking because you can control how much salt you add. Although salted butter, you can always adjust recipes. If you're following recipes, you can always adjust recipes for having salted butter because there's not that much salt in salted butter that you like would be overwhelmed with salt. You just don't add the salt elsewhere. Okay. Get those guys started. Garlic, because the garlic's going to want to rest for a minute before I dunk it in there. We didn't put any garlic on the fish, so we're going to need some garlic in our diet. The heads of garlic I've been getting lately have had really tight skins, like annoyingly tight skins. This one's not quite so bad, but still. But still. Or but still. butter started bubbling. That's a good sign. And there's some kind of odor coming out of my oven. I think perhaps someone may have put a fish in there. We'll check that in a bit to confirm whether or not there's a fish in there. I'm doing this as far in the corner as we possibly can because I'm right in the center. That'd be a fun cooking show. Do everything here in this little tiny corner and have the rest of the space just be unused. Wait, what? Oh, the fish? Yes. I know. We're gonna do an intruder check after the stream to see who could possibly have put that fish in there. uh, I kind of also want to do a fresh salad because this is vegetable, but this is like savory cooked vegetable, and I've got some fresh juicy salad. Well, some homegrown lettuce. That again, I need to use up because lettuce doesn't keep super long. I don't use it super much, so between those two supers, it's liable to go off. Okay, the button mushrooms are looking like they have definitely started cooking enough for me to throw in these guys, which I'm just gonna eyeball an amount. I'm gonna bring them out one at a time. Go chop, chop, chop in the pan until I feel like there's enough in the pan. Chop, chop, chop. Oyster mushrooms actually have a little bit more substance than the button mushrooms. So if I wanted them all to cook evenly, I would have put the oysters in first, but I want the oysters to maintain a little bit more of their texture. They'll still shrink up quite a lot because mushrooms are mostly water. That's probably enough, considering they'll shrink up, as I said, literally a second ago. Quite a lot. Take this squash down into smaller pieces as well. Okay, mushrooms. And we'll see if the mushrooms shrink up too much, although this is mushrooms and squash. So, oh, and now that that big reflective thing is here, I feel like this is too dark. I like it I wish, overall, what I really want is a cooktop that's not white. That'd be cool. And a countertop that's not white. That would also be cool. It's all these white surfaces that are screwing up my cameras. Uh, okay, okay. That's looking pretty good. If I was just making mushrooms, I'd want more. But I'm not just making mushrooms, so I think that's a good amount. Gonna get a majority of that garlic in there, but I'm gonna reserve a little bit because I have another idea for the garlic, and since I've already minced it, I will save it for that. We're low on butter in the pan because the mushrooms are sponging it up. But there should be still enough to get a good start here. If we need more oil, I'm going to not reach for more butter. I'm going to reach for some olive oil. Ow, that's hot. Ow, that was hot. Shouldn't have done that with my fingers. I think I want just a little bit of extra oil in the pan. Because the mushrooms have soaked up just a little bit too much. So a little bit extra virgin, which is going to bring flavor to the party, not just oil. Of course, that's a lot of garlic. You can't skimp on garlic. That was about 3 cloves. Okay. Besides, we've got a lot of squash. Oops. We don't want our squashes to go ungarlicked. That would be foolish. Two minutes left on my fish timer. Although when I take it out, it's going to have to rest. And I think I kind of leave it in there for 5 minutes more because that was quite a large fish. And the steaming, tell you what I'll do. I'll peek at it. And if it's exploding after 20 minutes, I'll take it out. If it's not exploding, come on, those two pieces are stuck together. If it's not exploding, I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. Come on, these two pieces are stuck together on the flat side. What the heck? Okay, okay. There's that. Some pepper. Some garlic powder. Put a couple of things away. So I did, in fact, just put garlic powder in there after putting fresh garlic in there. And I keep both on hand all the time because they taste very different. Fresh garlic has that spicy pungency. There's my timer. Has that spicy pungency to it that fades away, and dried garlic, powdered garlic, is more subtle savoriness. So I am an advocate of having both. The only kind of garlic I would completely avoid is that stuff that comes minced up in a jar. I think that misses completely on both fronts. I just think that stuff is a waste. uh, and I have had some, and I used the whole jar because after I bought it, I had to use it, but it just wasn't good. Uh, I can't remember if I have any anchovy paste. Do any of you remember if I picked up anchovy paste last time I was out? I don't think I did, which means making a Caesar dressing for a little side salad is going to be annoying. Once again, I've cooked enough for comfortably 2 to 3 people. Well, I don't think I have it. I think I've got flats, which I got on sale, $2. Well, I don't typically buy except when they're on sale, because once you've opened this, then you've got a bunch of little flats. That you got to use up, whereas the paste comes in a tube with a little cap. It makes it so much more convenient to dose out. And I don't think I remembered to pick up one after I used up the last one. So I could either crack into this guy, or we could try a substitute. Because I've got Chinese style fermented shrimp paste, and I've got this Filipino style salted shrimp fry, which I should take a peek at. Both of which are salty and pungent, much like anchovies, but in slightly different ways. The Chinese one is probably closer to Italian style anchovies. Keep knocking these out the side here, making a mess on my top. Those squashes are done. I'm going to move them off the heat. Any more cooking on the squash would make it mushy and ruined. I was just going to make a tiny side salad. Let's see. I didn't set a timer after the 5 minutes. So it's been about 5 minutes, I think. My thing hasn't exploded. My fish isn't exploding. I don't want to overcook it, but I don't want to undercook it. So I'm going to turn the oven heat off. And let it rest in there for the time it takes me to put together, a small dressing in this dish. So we've got our choices, and I should probably just go with an anchovy fillet, and then on Tuesday we can do something that requires a whole bunch of anchovies, because this will be open. And I know, oops, I touched the mic. I know everybody around here in my chat loves lots of anchovies. Right? Just eat them, just eat them straight. Eh. Too much effort for this gag that I'm about to do. Anchovies. You just take one and you go, mwah. Mm. That's why I added that face. Tell you what, anchovies are very salty. We're putting both of these shrimp things back since I've opened the anchovies now. They're actually so salty that you can't even taste the fish when you eat them straight like that, like I just did. I don't hate them by themselves, but they're very strong, and I would not be able to eat more than one. But they're good for you. They're like sardines, but saltier, much saltier. They're also going to sit here and stare at us for the remainder of the show. Oop, that's why. Because I need to figure out a container to put the rest of those in, because obviously I can't reclose the tin. I don't know why anchovies come in a container like this ever. It seems like the worst way to like, I'm never going to use that many in one dish. Surströmming. I don't think I'm going to do surströmming because I don't want to have to move after I eat it. You know. So I don't have paste, so I'm just going to mince this stuff, which is basically what the paste is mimicking anyways. Finely minced anchovy. I wish anchovies, like flat anchovies, just came in a jar with a lid. They probably do. There probably is a brand that's doing that, and I just haven't seen it. But are you volunteering? The fish did not explode. I turned the oven off, and I'm letting it rest in there while I prep this. I should probably let it rest on the top, since I don't need the top anymore. So let's do that. Let's take it out. Take our envelope of fish out. And just let it rest on the top here. As you can see, it didn't leak one little bit. There's no puddles, there's no pools. We're A-okay. Only now, in retrospect, do I realize I didn't oil the interior of that foil. So the bottom of the fish might end up stuck to the foil. We'll cross that road when we cross it. Okay. Garlic. Anchovy. This is the start of something delicious. What goes in Caesar dressing? Mustard. Ooh, wow. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to construct in here until this tastes like something. Big old squirt of lemon juice. Anchovies are plenty salty. Some black pepper, some olive oil. I have flaked red pepper, or will I have to crush my own? I think I have to crush my own at this stage of my life. BRB, my peppers are in the other room. Get a small one. Because there's nothing spicy in any of these elements yet today, other than some black pepper. Got to fix that. My dried chilies were not in a perfectly airtight container, so they are now a little bit leathery. And that's, I suppose, what I get for doing an air dry on them instead of a proper dehydrator dry. And I definitely should have put them in a very airtight container. It's not like they're rehydrated enough to go off. It's just they don't crush now. I have to manually mince them up. That in there. And yeah, Parmesan. So far, this is all very strong flavors, which is what a dressing is meant to be. And olive oil, which carries the very strong flavors. But it's got to turn into a sauce at some point, so mayonnaise. Everyone's favorite sauce base. When you add mayonnaise, it becomes a sauce. This looks like a job for Tiny Whisk. I recently saw a cooking segment on a non-cooking show where the people were challenged to use a tiny whisk, and the host brought out an enormous bag of tiny whisks. I still only have the one, but there he is, doing his job. Doing the Lord's work. Whisking. But in small. And yeah. I think you're supposed to put the Parmesan directly into the... My grater got wet because I put it in the sink. I think you're supposed to put the Parmesan directly into the dressing, but I also kind of want to grate it over the top. Okay, we're gonna taste this and see if it's too strong or just strong enough. Keep in mind, whenever you're making a sauce or a dressing, the flavors in it should seem too strong when you taste test it, because it's going to be diluted into whatever you're putting it on. Ooh, punchy. I like it. I'm not adding any more mayonnaise. I think we've got the right balance of flavors in there. It sure is punchy. I do think it needs a touch more oil because it's a little bit too thick. And a little bit of oil will help it be more of a liquidy dressing and less of a porridge. Okay. I like that. Tastes good. Pretty easy to put together. I just have to worry about anchovy leftovers. I will construct the actual salad right on the plate when we do our plating. And I think I want to use a very large plate. If I can get this whole fish on there. That would be ideal for the serving. He still has his head and tail, which make it quite a bit of a challenge. We're going to interrupt my camera. I'm going to pull out I'm going to pull out a bunch of plates. I'm going to dig to the bottom of this stack and see if I can get one of these big guys. Not even those brown ones are large enough. We're going a layer down. We must go deeper to the big version of those little bowls that everyone seems to like. They came with a set of plates as well. That see much less use, not because I don't like them, but because they're at the bottom of the stack, and thus I have to dig other things out to get to them. Would use more often if they weren't inconvenient to get at the bottom of the pile. Such is the curse of having multiple dishes. Okay, our mushrooms and squash are done. Our fish is probably done. We'll dress a salad on the plate after we construct the plate. So I guess I need to wash this board off. I didn't wash the fishy board, I just dumped it in the sink, but I actually need that same board now, so we're actually going to wash the fishy board. Dry it with an actual towel. Ugh. I need it as a staging area, and I don't want to put fish directly on my bamboo board. Plus, the bamboo board needs washing as well, and that one takes a lot longer to dry, even with a towel, because the surface is slightly absorbent, which is why I don't want to put meats on it, because the surface is slightly absorbent. So let's move that there, get this guy here, and we're going to see how hot this is. It's pretty hot. I can lift it quite easily without anything coming out the bottom. Let's do a reveal together over here. I'm going to open up the envelope and see what it looks like in there. And I am hoping to see a fish. Hey. Looks like a fish. Tell you what I'm going to do real quick. I should have done this right when I took it out. Now it's been sitting there. I'm going to take its temperature real quick. Right behind the gill. Okay, it's still 190 degrees on the inside, so we're plenty cooked. Okay, that's good. I wanted to make sure it was up to temp. Let's give it a quick swivel in you guys' direction. There you go. It's a fish. The limes have fully cooked themselves away to death. He appears to have gone blind in the 400-degree trip he took through the oven. He smells very subtle. I was expecting a stronger smell of either lime or dill, but it's a very subtle smell. Either that or I have gotten COVID without realizing it and lost my sense of smell in the past 5 minutes. That's also a possibility that we should not discount. Anyways, my one concern is that it might be stuck on the bottom, although it looks pretty juicy in there. So with luck, the juice will have prevented it from sticking. We're going to get those limes off of there because they are spent. In theory, I should be able to peel the skin off of a properly cooked fish like this, a steamed fish, and just dig right into the side of it. That's the goal of cooking a fish in this method. It's just that he's hot and a little bit delicate. And I want to get him onto this plate. So should have cut these fins. The fins just popped off, so that's a good sign. Will this fin just pop off? Yes, that fin also just pops off. So that's a good sign that we have nice tender fish. We're still got a lot of residual heat on our pan. Just sorry, he's cooked properly. I just want to get him off of there without damaging him. And that's the part I'm not sure about because he's pretty delicate. So bear with me while I brainstorm solutions. How delicate is his head? Also, if I let him cool off, he's definitely going to stick. Oh, he's definitely stuck. That's not great. Okay, he's only stuck on the ends, but I have to get him off of there quick because he's starting to cool off, and when he cools off, he's 100% going to stick. Tell you what I'm going to do. Sadly, we're going to do this off camera because I need the sink for it. So he'll come back in presentation once I've gotten him off of the foil. I need to pull the foil away from him subtly. Oh, I see what happened. His eyeball is stuck to the foil. That's why his face is stuck. Yeah, okay. Once his eyeball's loose, he just lifts off. Although we won't get delicious eyeball meat. Okay, now I think I can get a spatula under him. Now I think I can get a spatula under him. I didn't want to like scrape him off of there with a spatula because that would like tear into the flesh. Here, I'll switch to this camera so you can at least see the back of my head. I've got this light on, so the back of my head's going to be all washed out. Okay. I think we're going to do a 2 spatula to get him out of there. Ooh, yes. The fish meat is flaking apart very readily. Oh. So that's the sign that we did it correctly and that he is fully cooked. Oh, that was easy. I don't know why I spent so much time whinging. Fish on a plate. And we only lost 1 eyeball. Wash my hands real quick. I think I may have touched some of my spatulas with fishy hand, so I'll have to likely wash the entire jar now because I'm not sure which ones I did. Okay. This guy, right here. Push him up, give him a little bend. You can see he's breaking readily. And in theory, I should be able to, yes, just grab the skin and pull it off. perfect. It's coming off perfectly. As I say that, it starts to not come off perfectly, but like that's the goal is what just happened there, where I could just grab the skin and peel it away. It's only breaking a little bit where I've bent to the tail. Um, it's just a little smudge. And I could honestly be eating the skin too. The skin is so tender. But for presentation, you want to get it off of there, preferably without tearing up the meat very much. And then the bones, because he's still got his bones in them, the bones are underneath. The bones are structurally enclosing the cavity. The muscles are sort of layered outside of that. So you can just eat the fish right off the side of the fish, and the bones will stay in place underneath. And because he's properly cooked, the meat will easily flake away. Serving spoon for these guys. And our juicy salad. Our ever so slightly wilty salad. Because this is very fresh lettuce and it's very freshly going a little bit wilty. I'm just going to go ahead and use the whole head because it is getting a little bit wilty, and it wasn't a very big head. Fresh lettuce, a little bit of sweet onion, which sweet onion is in every element of this plate. So that's fun. And our fun, fancy dressing. A little bit of fresh cheese. A little bit of fresh pepper over here. And there you go. That's my rainbow trout plate. That's what I've made for breakfast. Because I haven't eaten anything today, so this is my breakfast. Let me go take a quick several photos of it. With wherever I put my... Every time I use... Oh, of course, I used it as a timer today. Every day I lose track of this thing. We've literally got one good angle on this. Okay, lots of photos. One of them is bound to be in focus. Bringing this guy back. Let's do a taste test for everyone who's still here or has just arrived. The fish is obviously the part I want to try first. It's delicate, flaky, comes right off, really easy. It is. Ooh. It's a very delicate flavor. It does exactly what I said. It flakes off pretty much with no effort. Little bones are underneath there. They stay in place as I'm taking the meat off of it. It tastes like trout. I can't argue that it's not tasting like trout. Real gentle dill flavor, really gentle lime flavor. I don't know that I can taste the onions that are stuffed in there at all. I can see them. They aren't disintegrated. I could actually just pull one out and taste it. Ooh. Ooh. Probably because they're sweet onions. If I had used regular white onions, I would have gotten a little bit of oniony flavor in there. But the sweet onions, because they're sweet onions, I think have just imparted a gentle sweetness overall. And they themselves have turned very tender, but still just holding together, and taken on a little bit of the fish flavor. So there's been a little bit of exchange, I think. Garlic butter summer squash is one of my favorite things. And this is no exception. This stuff is great. And adding the mushrooms is a great idea. They definitely elevate the flavors here. I think I should have trimmed the stems in some of the larger oysters. The stem bits are just a little bit chewy, but other than that, this is primo. And I should taste this dressing now that I've actually put it on something. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, it's strong and spicy. And I'm actually going to add more salad to it because it's strong. That's a very punchy dressing. Oh, I may have gone too hard on the dressing. A little goes a long way. But yeah, here we are. This is my creation of the morning. Behold. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Oh, and a fly has invited itself right at the end here. It heard that I was done. This all came out wonderfully. I'm very happy that the fish worked this well. It was quite easy, honestly. If I see these again, every once in a while I see whole rainbow trout at the grocery store. And even fewer in a while I see them show up in the bargain bin. This was not a bargain bin one. But this was quite easy to do, and it was mostly just sitting and waiting. The rest of these things took the rest of my time. The fish itself was just stick it in there for 25 minutes and wait. And it came out great. And you could swap out the herbs. I used fresh dill, but I think this would go good with thyme or rosemary or maybe even chives. some aromatics, something just some sort of herbs and aromatics in the cavity to just really gently push flavor into the meat. Um, yeah. So this is my lunch, and I want to get to it while it's still warm. So we are. Oh, I got this light on still. So we're gonna wrap it up. Back to my main screen. We're gonna wrap it up. I managed to get my emotes in for today, so people didn't slap me. But and I particularly love this one. I think it came out beautifully. Nom 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 nom. I still haven't thought up a raid message. So no raid message. Let's see who's on. You know who I've never raided? Is Shelly. Let's mute that tab before the ad starts playing. Shelly's been on for 45 minutes, so there's plenty of time left. We are going to go raid Shelly, who is currently playing Minecraft. But yeah, thanks for coming out. I gave myself that kick in the pants I needed to work on the back end stuff that I've been putting off, and hey, it worked. And I think those emotes look great. That's the only part of the back end stuff that you guys can see, but I think they look great. And I will be back on Tuesday. I keep thinking that if I find something really neat that I want to cook, I'll just do an impromptu whenever it's fresh and ready. And given that there's a farmer's market on Wednesdays, that could end up being Wednesday or Thursday because I would have picked something fresh up and jumped right in. So there may be unscheduled ones coming up if I find good ingredients. I kind of want to just give myself permission to do impromptu shows. So yeah, everybody say hi to Shelly when we get there, and I will see you next time. Oh, there's the countdown. We'll let the countdown do it because I managed to chat myself to it. Bye.